discussing exercise 2. We started with question number 6. There are also a couple of doubts in exercise 1, so I'm going back to that and then I'll come back to exercise 2. So exercise 1, question number 5 and 6. So question 5 is again to do with the inequality kind of concept. The resultant of the following vectors may be equal to 0, in which case, okay. So in this I'll just tell you the theory concept first. The theory concept here is that if a plus b plus c is equal to 0, that means any one vector is negative of the sum of the other two. That means the magnitude of that vector is equal to magnitude of the other two. I mean the sum of the other two. So you have the relation that magnitude of c must be less than equal to the sum of their magnitudes and greater than equal to the difference. This is how we check the condition for the sum of three vectors to be 0. Now similarly we will extend this a little bit and understand if four vectors are 0, then what is happening? Then how do we understand the condition? Okay, so you can see that d is equal to, or any one of them is the sum of the other three. Okay, so its magnitude okay. Now in this we can see that suppose e plus b को हम कोई नया वेक्टर देते हैं. Okay, suppose a plus b is some new vector e. Okay, so we know that magnitude of a plus b is less than equal to e. I mean so this is less than equal to a plus b. Okay, so therefore now a plus b plus c is equal to e plus c. Okay, and mod of a plus b plus c, which must be equal to mod of e plus c, must be less than equal to mod e plus mod c. Okay, now compare these two statements. So substitute this here. Okay. So what is happening? This thing mod e is less than equal to mod a plus mod b. Okay. Therefore, mod of e plus c is less than equal to a plus b plus c. So that means mod of a plus b plus c should be less than equal to the sum of the three. Okay, and now go back to this. So finally we have the statement that magnitude of d, which is equal to magnitude of a plus b plus c, should be less than equal to the sum of the other three. Okay, so we get this relation that this is the condition. So in conclusion, if a plus b plus c plus d is equal to 0, then the largest of the four in magnitude must be less than or equal to the sum of the magnitudes of the other three. Okay, so in other words, in this, okay, if mod D is the largest of the four vectors, then mod D should be less than equal to A plus B plus C. This is a condition that must be satisfied by these four vectors if their resultant is 0. Okay. So make sure you understood this concept first and then come back to this question and try and understand how we'll apply it. Question number 5. Sorry, question number 5. Exactly. Matlab the geometrical interpretation of the same thing is that they are forming a closed polygon. So if they're forming a closed polygon, then any one side cannot be larger in magnitude than the sum of all of them. Yes, can be equal to also. But if it's equal to, they will not be forming a polygon. They'll be forming, I mean, it will be along a line. So I'll explain the geometrical meaning of these also. Okay. But first make sure this whole logic is clear. So the thing is a little bit complicated. The moment you go to four vectors and more, it becomes a little more complicated. I'll tell you why. Okay. So if you want to understand this solution geometrically, understand like this. Let's start with this case. A plus B plus C is equal to 0. Now in this, if C's magnitude is equal to the sum of their magnitudes, okay, then it must be like this. If A is a vector like this and B is a vector like this, they must be along the same line. The following. Then C must be a vector like this. If this is the case, then they must be collinear. That is, A and B are parallel and C is opposite to them, and magnitude of C is equal to A plus B. This is the condition for them for the resultant to become 0. Now within this, if magnitude of C is less than magnitude of A plus B, okay, then this implies that A, B and C must form a closed triangle when drawn हेड टू टेल, तभी उनका रिजल्टेंट जीरो हो सकता है. Okay, so here the condition will now become that wherever B is, but then C has to be like this. It could be like this, it could be like this, it could be so many different types of vectors. But ये सारे केस में what is happening, if the resultant is zero, then drawing A, B and C head to tail must result in coming back to where we started. When we draw A and then B on its head and then C on its head, on reaching the head of C, we must come back to the origin where we started from. That's the only way the resultant is becoming zero. You understanding? So another thing you can understand here that, ठीक है, यही दो केस बनेंगे इसमें. Okay, so you can understand that if three vectors have resultant zero, then they must be coplanar. मतलब all three must lie in a common plane, because triangle is a planar shape. So ये भी हो जाता है ना, this is part of the condition actually, that not only, okay, so the condition becomes that C is less than equal to A plus B, okay, and also this, that they are coplanar. Yes, that's why 10, 10 and 20 can form a null vector, because they can be like this. Okay, if 10 and 10 and 20 are forming a null vector, then it's the first case, है ना? They must be like this, they must be collinear. एक ऐसा 10 है, उसके बाद डायरेक्टली एक ऐसा 10 है, and then the third one is like this. This is the only way the resultant of these three vectors can be zero. Okay, but suppose you add 10, 10 and 25, you can see it cannot be zero. But if you add suppose 10, 15 and 25, 20, then it could be like this. This could be the case, that this is 10, this is 15. So here C is less than 25. So C could be 20, for example. C could be 15, anything like this. So 10, 20 and 40 is not possible, na beta? You can see, Ansh. 10, 20 and 40 के तीन लाइंस को, के तीन एरोज को आप कैसे भी नहीं अरेंज कर सकते हो कि यू कम बैक टू वेयर यू स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम. Understood now? That's the thing. They cannot form a closed triangle, and obviously if you put them on a straight line, you will overshoot the point where you came from, no? Like this. Okay. In the case of four vectors, it becomes a little bit more complicated. Four and more vectors. Okay. Now let us see. If A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 0. Okay. In this, if D is the longest of the four, okay, and the magnitude of D is equal to A plus B plus C, okay, then again your vector diagram must be looking like this. There's no other possibility. Must be like this. So if this is happening, okay, if this is happening, it will imply that A, B and C are parallel vectors. Okay. And D is anti-parallel to them, which also means that all four are collinear. Okay. And therefore they are coplanar because they lie in infinite planes. Okay, they're all lying in not only the same plane, but there are infinite such planes. Okay. But now think of case 2. Now case 2 here becomes more complicated. I mean, the next thing here becomes more complicated. If D is the longest and D is less than the sum of A, B and C. Now इसके भी देखो कितने केसेस बन सकते हैं. Okay. इसका पहला केस ऐसा हो सकता है that the vectors are like this. A is like this, let's say. B is like this, let's say. But now C is like this. Okay. And D is like this. ऐसा हो सकता है. Okay. Can be. Not necessary, but can be. So it could be that A and B are parallel and C and D are opposite to A and B. But all four vectors are collinear vectors. ऐसा भी हो सकता है. Okay. Or another case that can happen is something like this, that they could form a triangle also. This can also happen, that A and B are like this. I mean, there are so many possibilities. That's what I'm trying to show you here. C is like this, let's say. D is like this. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है. So in this case, what we can say in general we can say that okay, ऐसा हो सकता है. Okay. Or it can even be something like this. So there are infinite such possibilities. Okay. A is like this, then B is like this, then C is like this, and then D is like this. This can also happen. This is also possible. Okay. So just make a note of these two cases first. Then we'll also come to the case where they can form a quadrilateral. Exactly, they can't form a five-sided figure. If they are forming a closed shape, the maximum number of sides has to be 4. Right. Okay, so you've taken down these examples. Now the next thing, D is less than the sum of E plus B plus C, and they form a closed quadrilateral. This can also happen. Okay, this can happen. But another case that can happen. So in this case, they are coplanar. Okay. Also, A, B, C, and D may form a closed four-sided figure, but not coplanar. ऐसा भी हो सकता है. So they could form a shape like this. Now in this diagram, just imagine that this triangle is not in the same plane as this triangle. सभी तो हो सकता है. So between these two, there is some angle. It's just like imagine that quadrilateral. We have folded it about this. So there is some. We folded this about this. So there is some angle. Okay. But even in this case, what will happen? D's magnitude is less than A plus B plus C. Okay. So that means they can be. So therefore, E, B, C, and D can be non-coplanar vectors, but forming a closed four-sided shape. Now, such a shape we won't call a quadrilateral, but we can call it like a folded quadrilateral. It is a folded quadrilateral. So this is a more in-depth analysis geometrically of the condition of four vectors to be zero, the sum of four vectors to be zero. You don't need to do all this analysis. I have solved the question for you directly by logic earlier, so that solution is enough. They can form, yes, they can form a square, rectangle, rhombus, parallelogram, any of these. They are part of quadrilaterals, na? Quadrilateral का subset होता है बेटा ये सब. But they can also, for example, form a general quadrilateral with where none of the four sides are equal, no pairs are parallel to each other and all that. And also that quadrilateral need not be planar. It could be folded about one of the diagonals. So in that case, what is happening? It's not even a quadrilateral. It's this. The name of it is this. That it's a four-sided closed figure which is non-coplanar. So it's a quadrilateral folded about one of its diagonals. वो केस भी हो सकता है. Obviously rhombus, rectangle, square ये सब इसमें आते ही है because they are subset of quadrilaterals. You're following? So all those possibilities are there. But it could also, for example, be a parallelogram which is folded about one of its diagonals through 90 degrees or 60 degrees or anything like that. So then it's not a parallelogram anymore. It's a non-coplanar figure. So hope this is clear, people. So like make a note of this. This is quite a detailed analysis of this geometrically. Like I said, problems को solve करने के लिए we don't need it. Okay, we don't need this analysis. Our logic earlier is fine. That you say if a plus b plus c plus d is 0, then d is the magnitude of a plus b plus c, and then break a plus b plus c into two vectors instead of three vectors and proceed that way. Okay, but if you want to understand geometrically what are the different shapes which are possible for the resultant of four vectors to be 0, there are all these shapes which I have drawn. They could be collinear vectors. Okay, collinear में भी दो केस हो सकता है, like these two cases I have shown, that three of them are parallel and the fourth one is anti-parallel, or two of them are parallel, the other two are anti-parallel. Okay, then they could form a triangle, but triangle में भी दो केस हो सकता है ऐसा. It is like a triangle with an outside part like a line plus a line plus a triangle, or it could be just a plain triangle like this. Okay, then they could be coplanar and forming a four-sided shape. That means they are forming a quadrilateral. Now quadrilateral includes all the things like square, rectangle, etc. Okay, or they could be like a folded quadrilateral. So they are not coplanar anymore, but they are forming the four sides of a closed shape. So इतने अलग अलग cases आपके geometrically बन सकते हैं. And in all these cases, other than the first one I drawn, d is less than a plus b plus c. The magnitude of d is less than the sum of the other three's magnitude, except for the first case. In the first case, the magnitude of d is equal to the sum of the other three. But यहाँ से लेके बाकी जितने भी cases हमने देखे, d's magnitude has to be less than the sum of a, b and c. And obviously if it is greater, then the resultant cannot be 0. Now these cases will also show you कि why that is the case. अगर d का magnitude a plus b plus c से ज़्यादा है, there's no way you can arrange the four of them in such a way that you return to where you started. The resultant can't be 0. Okay, next come to question number 6, people. So I'll just first explain the geometrical meaning of question number 6. Then based on that meaning, you can try to make both type of solution, geometrical solution also as well as algebraic solution, component algebra solution. It says that there are three vectors. So let's say A, B, and C are along consecutive sides of an equilateral triangle, okay, and have magnitudes okay, so we have to find. So first of all, let me explain कि geometrically ये क्या हो रहा है. What is the shape? So draw an equilateral triangle. Now A, B, and C are lying along consecutive sides of this. So that means, suppose A is a vector like this. Its magnitude is 1. Then B must be a vector like this. It's lying along the next consecutive side, but its magnitude is not 1. Its magnitude is 2. So B is a vector like this. And now similarly C is a vector that looks like this. C का magnitude अब 3 हो गया. It's the longest of the three, but it's like this. Okay. So in other words, if you draw them head to tail or one after the other, they're like this. Or even if you draw them from the common origin, if A is a vector like this, in comparison B is like this, in comparison to that C is like this kind of situation. Because you can see here that this angle is 120. This angle 120. So from that, if I picked out these vectors, then this is the shape. This is the meaning of the question. Yes, Varun, I will come to those doubts. Just be a little bit patient. Let me go in order. Okay. So now to answer the question, what next you can do? You can either convert to component form or you can use geometry. Okay. So so the two different methods. So try this. Or two, geometrically. So basically add the arrows. head to tail. Okay. So try this out by both these methods. Just take a minute or two if you haven't done this question before. Try the component algebra method first. It's the easy thing to do over here. I'll solve by both the methods. So see, if you go by the component algebra method, so यहाँ पे क्या करो, you can just take this sort of direction as your x-axis and this sort of direction as your y-axis. So अगर हम xy axis ऐसा लेते हैं that A is along the x-axis, so then we'll be able to express A as I cap. When you break B into components, it will become minus I cap plus root 3 j cap. Okay, and similarly when you break C into components, it will become minus 3 by 2 I cap minus 3 root 3 by 2. j cap ऐसा हो जाएगा. So now you can see that e plus b plus c will become minus 3 by 2 I cap, okay, minus root 3 by 2 j cap. मतलब I'm not doing the full calculation, I'm leaving that work for you, but if you do it, you will see like this. Okay. So this is of magnitude. When you work out this magnitude, this will come out to be root 3, and this will be at 150 degrees with respect to E, because this resultant that you get with respect to your xy system, ये ऐसा आ जाएगा. It will come out to be like this, where this angle will come out to be 30 degrees, because okay, so that is that. Whereas your vector E is lying along the x axis of magnitude 1. So ये angle इनके बीच कितना हो गया, 150 degrees. Okay. Or you can also express the angle like this. You can also express it like this, in which case we'll write it as 210 degrees. So you can say, so this is the geometrical way of solving, sorry, this is the component algebra way of solving the question. Okay. Now there is also interesting geometrical solution to this. We'll come to that also. For that you need to do this. Is this clear to all of you? Any doubts in this? Okay, people, so hope this is clear. Any doubts? Okay. Now, likewise, see, geometrically also we'll make a solution. It's very interesting actually, this question. So अगर इसको geometrically solve करना है मुझे क्या करना है? I have to draw the three vectors A, B and C head to tail. So that will look like this. That if I start with the vector E, it's a vector of magnitude 1 unit. So let's say it's like this along the x-axis. So this is my vector A, magnitude 1. Now on this I have to place the vector B, which is at an angle of 120 degrees to it, but of magnitude 2. तो ऐसा कुछ हो जाएगा. Suppose this is my vector B. Is that this angle here is 120. And now on this I have to place my vector C. So that will become something like this. यहाँ से 120 डिग्री एंगल पे, बट इसका मैग्नीट्यूड 3. So that is some vector like this. So with respect to B, it's at an angle of 120. Its magnitude is 3. Okay. So this is the three vectors A, B and C which we have drawn head to tail. Now in this, where will be the resultant? The resultant of these three vectors कहाँ पे होगा यहाँ पे? It will be nothing but the vector joining the origin where I started from to the head of the last vector where I finished up. So that is this vector. This vector is the resultant of them. This is the resultant of A plus B plus C. So as you can see, they are forming a quadrilateral, but they are forming a very strange kind of quadrilateral. क्यों strange है? Because if I just extend this line, you can see that they are forming the sum of two triangles. The quadrilateral can be divided into an equilateral triangle plus another triangle. Why it's equilateral? Because see, this is 60. This is also 60. So in this triangle, this has to be 60. So if this is 60, then this side, it has to be how much in length? It has to be 2. This side has to be 2 in length because that side is 2. So if this side is 2, then this has to be 1 because C's magnitude is 3 in all. And that means that this side also has to be 1 because this whole thing has to be 2. यहाँ से यहाँ the whole thing has to be 2. So now you can see that just take this triangle out. Just take this triangle separately. So that is a triangle that looks something like this. ऐसा triangle है. So in this triangle now, this is of 1, this is of 1, and this angle is 120. Sorry, this angle is 60. So ये angle अगर 60 है, okay. Now these two sides are equal 1 and 1. So that means this angle, let's say alpha, is equal to this angle, let's say alpha. So you can see that 2 alpha is equal to 60 degrees. Therefore alpha is 30 degrees. And if alpha is 30 degrees, now you drop this perpendicular here, it will bisect this. ठीक है. So अभी ये अगर x है, तो ये भी x है. Now you look at the trigonometry of any one of these two triangles. So x by 1 is equal to cos alpha, and alpha is 30 degrees. So that means x will become root 3 by 2. So that means in your shape, the magnitude of r, which is 2x, is root 3. So magnitude of r is nothing but mod of a प्लस बी प्लस सी कितना हो जा रहा है, √3 हो जा रहा है. Okay, so this is a geometrical way of solving it. And again, you want to find out the angle between the resultant and A. So you have to find out this angle. ये एंगल थीटा निकालना है, तो वहाँ पे यहाँ पे ये कौन सा एंगल है, ये वाला एंगल है. दिस एंगल इज थीटा. सो यू कैन सी दैट थीटा इज 180 minus alpha or 150 degrees. Solve. So this is also an interesting way of solving the same problem. Okay. So you've done this question in the last lecture. Then why you asked the same question? Who has asked this question? Please don't repeat questions, yaar. If I've done this question in the last lecture, then you should point out. Somebody else should point out. Mayank, I've done this question in the last lecture. You should have known that, na? Then. Okay. So I'm coming to exercise 2 doubts now, because I think I've done the doubts of exercise 1. So we'll discuss question number 2 from exercise 1. Sorry, from exercise 2. Okay, so what about exercise 2, question number 2? Have we solved this question previously, or is it pending? Exercise 2, question number 2. Okay. See, we will solve all these questions. There's no problem with time. We have enough time to solve all the questions. But just, we should not repeat the questions. Okay, so whoever has asked me the question from what we've discussed in the last lecture, please keep mind of this from next time. Don't ask me something which I've already solved in the previous lecture. हाँ, पिछली बार सॉल्व किया था, आपको समझ में नहीं आया, वो अलग बात है. यू कैन आस्क मी, बट देन टेल मी ना दैट सर, आई सॉल्व, यू हैव सॉल्व दिस, आई हैव नॉट अंडरस्टूड दिस पॉइंट. Then I'll understand, then I'll explain that point to you again. But everybody else's time gets wasted, na? If you ask me to solve the whole thing again, which I solved in the last lecture only, I will not remember, because I am teaching many batches. Your yellow house, I have got red house, green house, blue house, white house, God knows how many houses. So which house what I've done in the last lecture, I don't remember that way. Okay, so let's come to exercise 2, question number 2. So this is given 2 I cap plus j cap plus k cap, and vector B is given as I cap plus j cap plus k cap. Now this is a type of question where instead of solving directly, we have to check the options. So just see what the options are saying. One is that it's asking for a unit vector which is, okay, perpendicular to A or parallel to A, similarly perpendicular to B and parallel to, Okay, so we have to find in options to find a unit vector parallel to A, okay, perpendicular to A, similarly parallel to B. We have to check all these things. Okay. Sorry, perpendicular to B, not parallel to B. Okay. Now I'll start by asking you a simple question, that how many such unit vectors exist? And how many such unit vectors exist? Can you tell me? ऐसे कितने यूनिट वेक्टर्स है जो कि ए के पैरेलल है या ए के परपेंडिकुलर है या बी के परपेंडिकुलर है? So parallel to A, how many unit vectors exist? Only one. Okay, and that one is basically what? It is A cap. So it is vector A divided by mod A. So it is 2 I cap plus j cap plus k cap divided by root 6. Correct? So there's only one vector which is parallel, unit vector which is parallel to A. Okay, but what about perpendicular? It's only perpendicular to A, not to perpendicular to both A and B. सिर्फ एक वेक्टर के परपेंडिकुलर कितने यूनिट वेक्टर्स ऐसे? देयर आर इनफाइनाइट. The infinite such unit vectors. So see, A is just a vector like this now. So if you think of a plane which is being cut by A perpendicularly, so there are infinite vectors in this plane. No? The infinite unit vectors in this plane, they're all perpendicular. So there are infinite unit vectors which are perpendicular to A. Similarly, there are infinite unit vectors which are perpendicular to B. Are you understanding the point? Is this point clear to all of you? Why there are infinite such unit vectors? Because I'm not saying it's perpendicular to both A and to B. वो सिर्फ ऑप्शन सिर्फ ये कह रहा है कि A के परपेंडिकुलर है यूनिट वेक्टर. सो A के परपेंडिकुलर तो है इनफाइनाइट यूनिट वेक्टर्स ना. अनमोल, इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर बेटा? Okay. Prince and Kanish, this point is clear? Okay. So now how do we check therefore? So similarly, इसके लिए भी there are infinite. Okay. So there are infinite such unit vectors. So what we have to do is, so instead of solving in those options, check two things. Check first that the magnitude should be equal to 1, because नहीं तो unit vector ही नहीं है. And secondly, check that dot product with A should be 0 for perpendicular to A. ये condition होना चाहिए. Similarly, for perpendicular to B क्या होना चाहिए? Dot product with B should be 0 and magnitude should be unity. So understood how to do this now? Okay. So for example देखो, ये वाला वेक्टर है, फर्स्ट वाला है ना, is given as minus j cap plus k cap by root 2. So there's an option which says that minus j cap plus k cap by root 2 is a unit vector perpendicular to A. So you can check two things. One is that if you take the magnitude of this is 1. So this is correct. And the other thing is you can see dot product. Let's say n cap dot e should be 0. That's also 0 because this vector I'm taking as n cap. You can take the dot product with a. Sorry, it's 0. Dot product with a is 0. But same thing, suppose I had said, I had another option which I said that I cap minus j cap by root 2 is some unit vector perpendicular to E. And this you can see the magnitude is 1, so it's fine. But m cap dot a cap or E vector is not equal to 0. So this option would have become wrong. Okay. But this option is right. So ऐसे आपको बाकी भी चेक करना है. I guess so. Both the answers are right for perpendicular. Yeah. This unit vector actually has an interesting property. It is perpendicular to both A and B. Correct. Yes, that's also correct, Anmol. If you talk about any theta, so you have to just draw a plane such that yes, theta equal to 0 or theta equal to 180, there is a special condition. Otherwise, so if I say in a unit vector which is at some angle theta to A, where that theta is not 0 or 180, then you need to think of it like this, that suppose this is a vector A. Now you can, in the two-dimensional diagram, you can draw two such unit vectors which are at theta. So in 3D, it will be like a cone. It will be like a cone shape where vector E is along the axis of the cone. So there are infinite number of such vectors on that cone's surface which are at the same angle theta to E. So only the special case of theta of 0 or 180 gives you a unique unit vector. But otherwise, if I say a unit vector at 60 degrees to A or at 120 degrees to A or 90 degrees to A, there are infinite such ones. Okay, so this is clear, I hope. So exercise 2 now, any doubts pending? Any question pending? Question 7, okay. Yeah, so question 7 is that conceptual type of question. Question 7 and 9. Yeah, assignment 7 I'll come. We'll discuss that also, okay. So anyway, so question 7 in this exercise 2. A situation may be described by using different sets of coordinate axes having different orientations. Then which of the following do not depend on the orientation? Okay. So let me explain this question by just visually thinking what I'm doing. So suppose one person has made the coordinate frame like this. So this is our first frame, which is the XY system. So this is a frame 1. I'm making two-dimensional, you can imagine in 3D also. Now imagine another person has made a coordinate frame which is now like this. It may be having the same origin, it may not be having the same origin. So let's assume that it's not having the same origin also. But most importantly, its orientation is not the same. That means the axes are not coinciding or they are not parallel to each other. This is O prime and this is X prime. This is Y prime. Okay. And now imagine you have any vector quantity which on its own is just an arrow. So let's say it's an arrow like this. Arrow like this. This is a vector E. So how will its comparison look in frame 1 and frame 2? That is the thing you have to understand. Okay. As far as the first option is concerned, a scalar quantity, it makes no difference at all because scalar does not have any direction. Now, so obviously which quantities, so it's saying that which of the following do not depend on the orientation of the axis. Obviously the value of a scalar does not depend. Okay, but now if I look at the vector in frame 1, इसके components कैसे दिखेंगे, इसके components ऐसे होंगे. In the first frame, okay, the components of this vector will be like this: ax, ey. So the vector in frame 1, the vector e will be written as ex I cap plus ey j cap. But what about in frame 2? How will we write the same vector in frame 2? We'll have to drop this perpendicular. So ये आपका ax prime हो गया suppose, and we have to drop this perpendicular. This is your ay prime. So in frame 2, the same vector is now becoming ax prime. इसको भी मैं I cap prime लिखूंगा because obviously this unit vector is not the same as I cap. Okay, so now you can see that therefore ax is not equal to ax prime, ay is not equal to ay prime, but magnitude of A is same, na? And the direction is same. It's basically the same arrow. So for example, if that arrow is pointing towards north, then this is north irrespective of the reference frame. Okay, so neither the vector's magnitude changes nor the direction changes, but the component of the vectors, they change. Okay, so out of the 4 options given, this is only the component of the vector which is changing according to the reference frame which we've drawn. But the vector itself, that means both the magnitude and the direction of the vector is the same. Okay. And obviously a scalar quantity does not depend on reference frame because it does not have any direction. So the meaning of the question was little tricky in this. Hope it is clear to all of you now. Yes, Prince and Aman, this question is clear, I hope. Okay, very good. Now let's wind up exercise 2 with question number 9. Now this one is an easy question comparatively. It's just asking to say that magnitude of the vector product of two vectors may be greater than, okay, so you know that mod of A cross B कितना होता है? Mod of A cross B. What is that equal to? It's AB sine theta. So that should answer the question, no? So sine theta here will be greater than equal to 0, less than equal to 1, because remember theta here is not in second and third quadrant. I mean, is not in third and fourth quadrant, because theta is the angle between two vectors. So it can't be, it will always be expressed as something between 0 and 180. Okay, so you can see that magnitude of A cross B cannot exceed the product of their magnitudes. Okay, and obviously cannot be less than 0 because it's a magnitude. So hope this is clear, guys. Right, Prince, this question is clear. Okay, now we'll come to exercise 3 and 4 later. Let us, since many of you are now requesting for major test 2 doubts, so let's come to doubts from major test 2. After that, we will come back to exercise 3 and 4 and also assignment 7. Couple of questions are pending in that, so we'll discuss that. So don't worry, we'll discuss each and every question before we move to the next chapter. There is no hurry in that sense. Okay, just that don't want to waste people's time in. Okay, so I'll just put up. Just give me a minute. I will just put up the questions in a PDF, so you can select from that and tell me which questions. Okay, so these are the questions from the major test 2, which are from vectors. Okay, so just go through this and tell me if you have a doubt in first two questions. Okay, so method is clear in both of them. पहले में डायरेक्शन कोसाइन का फॉर्मूला यूज कर लो एंड सेकंड में you use the dot product method. So this is the dot product method. So use this method for this question. A and B are given. So okay, let's move on to the third and fourth question next. So third is that projection wala concept. Okay. So you have to find the projection of A along B. So for that you have to find this. Just the magnitude you have to find. Only the magnitude. So this. So just do this operation over here. So E cos theta, which is the parallel component's magnitude, is E dot B divided by magnitude of B. So E dot B you can see from here is 1. Okay. And magnitude of B you can see is 5. Oh, sorry. This is 4. This is the JE test, beta sir. I'll come to the NEET one also. Okay, so hope this question is clear. Now, fourth and fifth question, go through it. Fifth and eighth. Okay, so in this question, this is given, so you can just use this relation that A plus B. I'll tell you a trick that you can use in the exam level. Okay, EB cos theta, तो directly आप A dot B लिखो. Okay, and square both the sides. So it becomes mod of A plus B whole square is equal to A square plus B square plus 2 times A dot B. So this is what we want to find out. This all is given to us. So just substitute. So this is 4 square is equal to 4 square plus 2 square plus 2x, where x is A dot B. So you can see that x will come out to be minus 2. Okay. Now let's come to the fifth question. C is a vector of magnitude 3 and perpendicular to the plane of A and B. So that means C का direction क्या होगा? C will be plus or minus 3 n cap, where n cap is what? It is a unit vector of A cross B. Okay. So you have to find A cross B first, then find its unit vector, then multiply it with plus or minus 3. This sort of question we've discussed, yes. Okay. So that is how you'll do this question. Question number 5. Is it clear? Yes, Anshu asking, hope this question is clear. When the method is clear, I'll show you the solution. So calculate A cross B by the cross product method. A cross B comes out to be this. So next इसका unit vector निकालो, n cap. So that is nothing but this thing. N cap is nothing but minus 3 I cap plus 3j cap divided by its own magnitude. So that comes out to be this. Okay. So now your vector C will be plus or minus of 3 n cap. This is clear, Ansh? Okay, good. Okay, let's come to the next one. So this one is saying the scalar product of two vectors is 0, but the magnitude of their resultant sum is 20. So scalar product of two vectors is 0 means what? They are perpendicular to each other. Okay. So just use that relation. They are perpendicular. Okay. So they are perpendicular vectors. You can see that what is happening is the moment you understand that scalar product is 0, that means you know that theta is equal to 90 degrees. So when you talk about the resultant sum, is just root of a square plus b square. So 20 is equal to root of 16 square plus b square. So very simple this is now. Fine. Okay. अच्छा, now उनका वेक्टर प्रोडक्ट क्या हो जाएगा? थीटा इज इक्वल टू 90. दिस ऑल्सो मीन्स दैट ए क्रॉस बी का मॉड कितना हो जाएगा? ए बी, बिकॉज साइन 90 इज 1. नहीं, मैग्नीट्यूड है ना बेटा, वेक्टर प्रोडक्ट का मैग्नीट्यूड पूछा है. ओके ना? ओके. Okay. Now next, go through the 7th question. So I have two vectors A and B which are at an angle of 60 degrees. Okay. And A plus B is at an angle of 30 degrees with respect to A. So what information this tells you? That alpha is equal to theta by 2. So your parallelogram is a rhombus. Just remember this special case. So mod A is equal to mod B. Okay. Theta is equal to 60 degrees. So in the rhombus, remember all these things happen. Sides are equal. So this is correct. So this option is correct. It's the correct option. Huh? You have to mark the incorrect correct option. Then diagonals are perpendicular. So what this tells us now? This tells us that E plus B is one diagonal. It's perpendicular to the other diagonal, which is A minus B. Okay. So that means this option is also correct. Okay. Now also this is then theta 60. So you can see that A dot B will become A square cos 60, and A cross B's magnitude will become A square sine 60. So you can see that this relation will also hold true. This one will be the one which is false. Is this question clear, people? Okay. Now, this is the more difficult level question now coming. Projection concept. Okay, so let's look at this in detail. So these two vectors are given to me. The projection of A perpendicular to B निकालना है as a vector quantity. So how we calculate that? A's perpendicular projection is the vector A minus A's parallel projection. Okay, so this is the first thing. And the parallel projection itself is A cos theta into B cap. That's the second thing. Okay. So now what we have to do is in this, we have to substitute the values of A cos theta. So A dot B कितना हो जाएगा? You see it is 1 minus 1 minus 2. So it's minus 2 divided by magnitude of B is how much? Square root of 1 plus 1 plus 4. So that is root 6. Okay. And B cap will become the vector B itself divided by its own magnitude. So substitute this and this over here and here. So you will get E's parallel component as this into this. So that is minus 2 by 6 into I cap minus J cap minus 2 K cap. Okay. So this is our parallel component. So from this, we get this as a parallel component. Now next thing you have to do is substitute this over here. Substitute this here. So subtract this from this. So from that your A perpendicular will become this vector, this one, minus of this vector. So 1 minus of minus 1 by 3, so that's 4 by 3. Okay. Then 1 minus of 1 by 3, so that is 2 by 3. Okay. And then 1 minus of 2 by 3, so 1 by 3 K cap. Prince, I didn't understand. Third one, matlab? Acha, minus 1, nahi. See, it is 1 minus of 2 by 3, na? So it's 1 by 3 only. So you're subtracting A minus A parallel. So the K cap component is what? It is 1 minus of 2 by 3. So that's 1 by 3 only, na? Oh, last one. Okay, I'll explain. I'll come back to the last one. Okay. उसमें देखो A cross B कितना हो गया? Its magnitude is A square sin theta. And theta is how much? 60 degrees. So it's A square into root 3 by 2. And A dot B क्या है? It is A square into cos 60. So it's A square by 2. So from that you are getting the ratio, no? It's the ratio of sin theta is to cos theta only, which is root 3. And because mod A is equal to mod B, na beta? That you establish because it's a rhombus. Okay. All right, so hope this question is now clear to all of you, this one. So these are the steps. You first calculate the parallel component. First thing you do is you calculate this parallel component by doing this. That A cos theta is coming from this, so it's this, and B cap is coming from this. So then you multiply these two, so you got the A parallel vector. So this is done. Now once you got the A parallel vector, you substitute this in this equation. Substitute it here. So you are subtracting this vector A minus of this vector parallel component. And the parallel component I've written it better like this over here. Okay. So this will become like this. Okay, now this was a bit of a tricky question. So just go through this, I'll explain. So this is the important thing over here, that C is the midpoint of the line AB. Okay, so that means if I now draw two new vectors, let's say I draw this vector and I draw this vector, they are equal vectors. C is the midpoint of AB. That means the vector AC is equal to the vector CB. Or in my diagram, the vector D is equal to the vector E. Okay. Now the other thing is, whenever I draw any two vectors like this, let's say this is A and this is B, then this vector is nothing but, in this case, B minus A. Or if I draw the vectors like this, and I draw the third vector going from head of B to head of A, so ये कितना हो जाता है, A minus B. Okay, so now apply that to this triangle first. So you'll see that the vector C minus the vector A is nothing but the vector D. Okay, and then apply that to this triangle. Okay, and you'll see that the vector E is equal to B minus C. Okay, and now use this. So vector D यहाँ से क्या हो गया, C minus A. Okay, और vector E वहाँ से क्या हो गया, B minus C. So you can see that 2C will become A plus B. So from that you can see. Okay, and also you can see that E plus D is twice of E or twice of D. So E plus D कौन सा वेक्टर है, ये वाला है. So it is B minus A. Okay. It is 2 times C minus A or 2 times B minus C. So these two other relations also hold true. So now you check the options. Again, remember to check the incorrect option. So 3 options should be correct and 1 should be wrong. So just work it out. Okay, so hope this question is clear, people. Yeah, D is incorrect. Okay, so now this question you will understand very easily on the basis of what we discussed today. We had a very detailed discussion about condition for the resultant to be 0. Okay, so this was the ultimate correct statement that 4 vectors, they may be non-coplanar because they may be forming a folded quadrilateral. Okay, that is a non-planar four-sided shape. Okay, so that's why they may be coplanar, non-coplanar. So the same explanation I've given in the solution also. Okay, so this is clear, I hope. Now let's come to the numerical answer type questions. So in this, you could use the fact that 72 degrees is 360 divided by 5. Okay, so therefore, if you draw okay, they will all form four sides of a pentagon of magnitude 5. Okay, so here you can see what is the resultant going to be. The resultant is going to be nothing but this vector. Okay, so the magnitude of the resultant will be equal to A, B, C, or D, which is 5, because your resultant is going to be the fifth side of the pentagon, a regular pentagon, जिसके चार साइड्स क्या हैं, A, B, C and D है. Alright. So this is the key to catching it, that this angle is 1/5 of 360, and this A, B, C and D are all equal magnitude. So they are all at 72 to respect to each other. That means they are like consecutive sides, but the four consecutive sides of a regular pentagon. Is this clear? Okay, good. Just a second. Yeah. So this is pretty easy. Just convert to components. So if you haven't done this question in the test, please try this out. Okay. So write vectors A, B, and C in component form. It's pretty easy. Convert it to component and form and then do this one. So you'll see that when you write in component form, E will come out to be 3 I cap plus 4 j cap. B will come out to be 4 I cap plus 4 j cap. And C is nothing but 16 j cap. So the resultant magnitude will come out to be 21. Okay. So any other question pending now? This last one, this coplanar condition one is done. Yeah, I will come to neat paper, but in this any other question remaining? Okay. So this completes this, right? Now so since we're almost out of time, we'll discuss the neat paper in the next lecture. Okay. And I'll just give you a hint for assignment 7, question number 15, which was pending. So we'll conclude with that. So just a minute, let me come to assignment 7. Okay. Those who don't have doubts left, you can leave. I will just, Acha, we'll discuss assignment 7, question number 15 in the next lecture then. All right. So that's it for today. We'll complete the neat doubts and assignment 7 doubts in the next lecture.